Michelle had always prided herself on being an attentive mother. Yet as she stood in the midst of scattered toys and forgotten books, a sense of unease began to creep in. The clutter in her house mirrored the chaos she felt in her heart, an unsettling reminder that despite her best efforts, something crucial had slipped through the cracks. Her daughter, Lily, had been distant lately, retreating into her room more often than not, and the laughter that once filled their home now felt like a distant echo. As she picked up a worn-out teddy bear, a familiar pang of nostalgia washed over her, igniting a flicker of concern for the girl who used to confide in her about everything. Before we dive deeper into this poignant tale, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us and helps ensure that these heartfelt stories of love, resilience, and the complexities of family reach more people. So please hit that subscribe button now. With a determined sigh, Michelle continued sorting through the remnants of Lily's childhood, unearthing memories that tugged at her heartstrings. It was then, behind a stack of old magazines, that she noticed something unusual. A small, sleek phone, its screen glinting in the soft afternoon light. She had thought Lily's phone was permanently glued to her hand, so the sight of this hidden device struck her as odd. Curiosity piqued, Michelle picked it up, her fingers brushing against the cool surface as she turned it over, contemplating its presence. Something about it felt secretive, almost forbidden. As she hesitated, a sense of dread washed over her. She knew that invading her daughter's privacy was a line she shouldn't cross. Yet the feeling of unease that had settled in her stomach urged her to take a closer look. With trembling hands, she pressed the power button, the screen lighting up with a soft glow. Notifications flashed before her eyes, each one an invitation into a world she hadn't realized Lily was navigating alone. The first message she opened sent a chill through her spine. It was from a suicide prevention group, filled with supportive words and encouragement. As she scrolled through the messages, her heart sank deeper with each line. They spoke of struggles, feelings of isolation, and a longing for connection, emotions that had undoubtedly been swirling within her daughter for far too long. In that moment, the reality of Lily's hidden battles hit Michelle like a freight train. She felt a wave of guilt crash over her, striking her with the harsh realization that she had been oblivious to her daughter's pain. The room around her faded away, consumed by thoughts of missed signs and unspoken words. It was as though a veil had been lifted, exposing the raw vulnerability that had been lurking in the shadows of their home. How had she not seen it? How had she allowed her daughter to feel so alone? Michelle's heart ached as she grappled with the weight of her ignorance. She had always believed that love could bridge any gap, yet here she stood, a chasm of misunderstanding stretching between them. Michelle's mind raced as she tried to piece together the fragments of Lily's behavior. The late nights spent in her room, the reluctance to join family dinners, the subtle changes in her once vibrant demeanor. It all began to make sense, yet it also left Michelle feeling helpless. She had always been there for her daughter, guiding her through the challenges of growing up, but what if this time was different? What if Lily needed more than just a listening ear? The thought was terrifying, and yet it ignited a spark of determination within Michelle. She couldn't let this moment define their relationship. Instead, it had to be a catalyst for healing. Michelle resolved then and there to reconnect with Lily, to bridge the gap that had formed between them. But how? The question loomed over her like a dark cloud, threatening to suffocate her newfound resolve. She needed to approach this delicately, with love and understanding, but she also felt the urgency to act before it was too late. As she placed the phone back where she had found it, a plan began to take shape in her mind. She would start small, opening up a dialogue about feelings and mental health, creating a safe space where Lily could share her burdens without fear of judgment. Michelle could no longer afford to be just a mother. She needed to be a confidant, a guiding light through the murky waters of adolescence. With her heart pounding in her chest, she decided to bake Lily's favorite cookies. A simple act, but one that had always brought them together. The scent of chocolate chip cookies wafting through the house would serve as a gentle invitation, a signal that she was ready to listen. As she mixed the ingredients, her thoughts turned to the conversations they had shared over the years, the laughter and the tears that had forged their bond. She remembered the importance of being present, of actively engaging in Lily's life beyond the surface level. Michelle knew that this wouldn't be easy. There would be moments of discomfort, perhaps even resistance from Lily. But she also understood that vulnerability was a two-way street. If she wanted her daughter to open up, she had to be willing to share her own fears and insecurities. It was a daunting prospect, yet one that filled her with hope. As the cookies baked, the kitchen filled with warmth and the sweet aroma of chocolate, Michelle took a deep breath, steeling herself for the conversation ahead. She recalled the countless times she had watched Lily grow, each milestone a testament to her strength and resilience. Now, it was time for her to show that same strength in return. With the cookies cooling on the counter, Michelle set out to create a comfortable atmosphere for the impending discussion. She lit a few candles and arranged the living room to feel inviting and cozy. She envisioned the scene, a space where both of them could feel safe, where the walls wouldn't close in on their emotions, but instead would embrace their vulnerability. Lily's laughter used to fill this space, and Michelle yearned to hear it again. The memories of their shared moments flooded her mind. Movie nights wrapped in blankets, spontaneous dance parties in the living room, and heartfelt conversations that lasted late into the night. These were the threads that wove their connection, and she was determined to weave them tighter, to mend the frayed edges that had begun to unravel. As she waited, the minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Michelle's heart raced. Her palms grew clammy with anticipation. She could only hope that Lily would be open to sharing her thoughts, that the love they had cultivated over the years would be strong enough to weather this storm. In those quiet moments, amid the flickering candlelight and the scent of fresh cookies, Michelle realized that this was more than just a conversation. It was a pivotal moment in their lives. It was a chance for both of them to confront their fears and embrace the healing power of connection. No matter the outcome, she was ready to take that leap of faith, to step into the unknown with her daughter by her side. And so, with a heart full of hope and a spirit ignited by love, Michelle awaited Lily's return, ready to embark on a journey of reconnection and healing that would forever change their lives. As the minutes turned into a quiet symphony of anticipation, Michelle could hear the soft creak of footsteps approaching. Her heart raced, a mixture of excitement and anxiety swirling within her. She had set the stage for what she hoped would be an honest conversation, but the weight of uncertainty hung heavy in the air. Would Lily be receptive? Would she even want to talk? The door to the living room swung open, and in walked Lily, her expression a blend of surprise and curiosity as she took in the warm glow of candles and the enticing aroma wafting from the kitchen. Michelle's heart swelled at the sight of her daughter, who was still so young, yet carried the weight of the world on her shoulders. "Mom!" Lily's voice was soft, a hint of uncertainty lacing her words. "What's all this?" "A little surprise," Michelle replied, forcing a smile, though her heart felt as if it were about to burst. "I thought we could spend some time together. I made your favorite cookies." A flicker of interest crossed Lily's face, and she stepped further into the room, her gaze shifting from the cookies cooling on the counter to the flickering candles that danced in the dim light. "You didn't have to do this," she murmured, taking a seat on the couch, her posture slightly closed off, arms crossed tightly against her chest. "I wanted to," Michelle said gently, moving to sit across from her, giving Lily the space she needed if she chose to retreat. "I've noticed you've been a bit quiet lately, and I thought maybe we could talk. About anything, really." Lily's eyes darted away, fixating on a spot on the floor. "I'm fine," she replied, but her voice lacked conviction, and Michelle felt a pang of sadness at the denial laced in her daughter's response. "Are you?" Michelle pressed softly, her heart aching at the thought of Lily feeling she had to hide her true feelings. "You don't have to pretend with me, sweetheart. I'm here for you always." For a moment, silence enveloped them, broken only by the gentle crackle of the candles. Michelle could see the tension in Lily's shoulders, how they tightened as if bracing for something inevitable. She could almost hear the unspoken words swirling in the space between them, begging to be freed. Finally, Lily sighed, a soft sound filled with resignation. I don't know how to talk about it, Mom." Michelle's heart raced, a mix of relief and worry flooding her senses. About what, honey? You can share anything with me. Lily looked up, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears that threatened to spill over. About feeling sad and alone. It's just been really hard lately. The confession hit Michelle like a tidal wave, crashing over her with an overwhelming force. She felt the familiar guilt creeping in, but she pushed it aside, focusing instead on the vulnerability shining in her daughter's eyes. I'm so sorry, Lily. I didn't realize you were feeling this way. I should have been more aware. It's not your fault, Lily replied, her voice shaking slightly. I didn't want to worry you. I thought I could handle it on my own. Sweetheart, you don't have to handle everything by yourself, Michelle said, leaning closer, her heart swelling with a fierce protectiveness. I want you to know that it's okay to feel sad or overwhelmed. We can face this together. Lily looked at her, a flicker of hope igniting in her gaze. But what if I can't? What if I just stay this way? Michelle shook her head, her heart breaking for her daughter. You won't. You have so much strength inside you, Lily, and I'm here to help you find it. Remember when we used to go on nature hikes and you would climb the tallest trees? You were always fearless. We can do this just like we did back then. Lily's lips quirked up slightly at the memory, and for a brief moment, the tension in her shoulders began to ease. I remember, she said softly, a hint of the girl Michelle knew shining through the shadows. Let's take it one step at a time, Michelle suggested, her voice steady. We could talk about what you're feeling, and if you ever want to reach out for help, that's okay too. You're not alone in this, I promise you. As she spoke, Michelle felt a warmth spreading through her chest, a sense of purpose igniting within her. She realized that this conversation was not just about addressing Lily's struggles, but also about forging a deeper connection, one built on trust and understanding. What if I told you about everything? Lily asked hesitantly, her eyes searching her mother's face for reassurance. Then I would listen, Michelle replied, her voice gentle yet firm. And I would hold your hand through every moment of it. No judgment, only love and support. Lily took a deep breath, the air trembling as she exhaled. Okay, she whispered, her voice barely above a sound. I think I want to try. In that moment, Michelle felt a rush of gratitude wash over her. This was the breakthrough she had hoped for, the first step toward healing. Let's start with how you've been feeling lately, she suggested softly. What's been weighing on your heart? Lily hesitated, her gaze flickering to the cookies, then back to her mother. It's hard to explain. I just feel like no one really sees me anymore. Like I'm invisible. The word struck Michelle deeply, igniting a mix of sorrow and determination within her. I see you, Lily. I always have. You're my daughter, and your feelings matter to me more than anything else in this world. Please don't ever feel like you have to hide from me. Lily's eyes glistened with tears, and Michelle reached out, taking her daughter's hand in hers. The warmth of their connection flowed between them, a silent promise that they would face the storm together. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to comment from where you are hearing this amazing story. Michelle's heart raced with emotion, realizing that sharing this moment with others could potentially help others who felt similarly lost. I just want to belong somewhere, Lily confessed, her voice cracking. Sometimes it feels like I'm just going through the motions, and I don't know how to change it. You belong with us, Michelle said, her grip tightening around Lily's hand. You belong in this family, and we'll work together to make sure you feel that love and connection every day. We can create that space just like we did before. Lily nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks, and Michelle reached forward, brushing them away with her thumb. You're not alone in this, and I promise to be more present. We can create new memories and traditions that help you feel connected again. The conversation flowed gently, each word a thread weaving them closer together. As they spoke, Michelle felt the weight of her own guilt begin to lift, replaced by a sense of hope and determination. They were embarking on a journey of healing, understanding, and rediscovery of the love that had always existed between them, even when it felt hidden beneath layers of unspoken struggles. As the cookies cooled and the candles flickered softly, Michelle knew that this was just the beginning of something beautiful. Together, they would navigate the complexities of life, each step a testament to their resilience as a family. And in that moment, amidst the shadows of doubt and the flickering light of hope, they found a renewed sense of connection, a bond that would carry them through the darkness and into the light. As the conversation deepened, Michelle felt the warmth of connection wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. Each shared word brought them closer, dissolving the barriers that had formed in the silence of the past months. Lily's once guarded heart began to open, revealing the tender emotions she had kept hidden for so long. "Sometimes I just feel so overwhelmed with everything," Lily admitted, her voice wavering but growing stronger with each sentence. "School, friends, and even social media, it all feels like too much sometimes. I think I lost sight of who I am." Michelle nodded, absorbing her daughter's words. "It's so easy to feel that way, especially with everything happening around us. But I want you to remember that it's okay to take a step back and breathe. You don't have to do it all at once." Lily looked up, her eyes reflecting a blend of vulnerability and hope. "I guess I never really gave myself permission to feel that way. I thought I had to be strong all the time." "Strength doesn't mean hiding your feelings," Michelle replied softly. "True strength is about being honest with yourself and asking for help when you need it. You're allowed to be vulnerable, Lily. We all are." The conversation flowed effortlessly now, like a river finding its course. They spoke about the pressures of school, the complexities of friendships, and the suffocating nature of social media. Michelle listened intently, her heart aching for the challenges Lily faced, but also feeling a swell of pride for her daughter's courage in sharing so openly. As they talked, Michelle decided to share her own struggles, recalling moments in her life when she had felt lost or overwhelmed. She spoke of her own insecurities, her fears of not being enough as a mother, and the times when she had felt disconnected from her own dreams. It was a risk, but she hoped that by showing her own vulnerability, Lily would feel encouraged to express herself even further. "I remember when I was your age," Michelle said, her voice filled with warmth. "I felt like I had to be perfect all the time, but I learned that it's okay to stumble and fall. It's all part of growing up. What matters is how we rise after each fall." Lily listened, her expression softening. "I guess I just thought you had it all figured out." "I wish I could say I do," Michelle chuckled lightly, "but I'm still learning every day. We'll figure it out together, okay?" As the minutes turned into hours, the shadows in the room seemed to recede, replaced by the glow of understanding and compassion. Michelle felt a profound sense of relief wash over her. The weight of worry began to lift as she realized that they were forging a new path together, one step at a time. "Can we do this more often?" Lily asked shyly, her eyes brightening. "Talk, about everything." "Absolutely," Michelle replied, her heart swelling with love. "This is just the beginning. You can talk to me whenever you need to. Just remember, I'm always here, ready to listen." The air between them felt lighter now, filled with the promise of renewed connection. As they shared stories and laughter, Michelle felt a sense of hope blooming in her chest. They would navigate this journey of healing together, growing stronger with each conversation, each moment spent in each other's company. Later that evening, as they sat together, enjoying the warm cookies and savoring the sweetness of their newfound connection, Michelle reflected on how far they had come in just a few hours. It was a testament to the power of love, understanding, and the willingness to be vulnerable. "I love you, Lily," Michelle said, her voice filled with sincerity. "I'm so proud of you for opening up tonight. You're not alone, and you never will be." Lily smiled, her face lighting up with a warmth that had been absent for far too long. "I love you too, Mom. Thank you for being here." And in that moment, amidst the warmth of the kitchen and the aroma of freshly baked cookies, Michelle felt a sense of peace settle within her. They had taken the first step toward healing, and she knew that together, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the night wore on, they continued to talk, their laughter echoing through the halls of the home that once felt lonely and heavy. Together, they began to weave a new narrative, one filled with love, resilience, and the unwavering bond of family. In the shadows of doubt, they had discovered light, and with it, a renewed commitment to each other, a promise to always keep the lines of communication open. And with that promise, Michelle knew they were embarking on a journey that would not only heal the wounds of the past, but would also lay the foundation for a brighter, more connected future.